We did in fact get our bullish cross overnight for Shiba Inu. This is great. It's exactly what we needed to see. And of course, we're seeing some green across the crypto space. Shiba Inu having a green day nonetheless, up about a 0.5%, 0.6% or so, something like that. And what we're seeing is actually ETH get a little bit lively, like we were talking about yesterday. This is a perfect setup for hopefully an explosive week ahead, and we're going to talk about that in this video. But I do want to talk about just a few things in terms of SHIB, a few fundamental things, and actually something on the SHIB ETH chart that we haven't had a chance to really address yet. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So I think a lot of people miss the context of where we're at in the crypto market. We are just before what looks like a big boom, a big breakout in the crypto space. Not saying that's going to happen for sure, but that's sure what it's looking like. That's what it's feel like. The fundamentals are pointing to exactly this. That's why I keep making these videos talking about this big exciting time ahead. And we did get our bullish cross on the daily stochastic RSI, like we were talking about yesterday. Again, the last several times we've seen this. Actually, I mean, every time you see this, you go on a run. Right? Could be a short one, could be a longer term one. Last one was all the way back here again in the early part of May, and we know what SHIB did. It had a very nice explosive move to the upside. And when SHIB keeps holding support, bouncing off these trend lines, and we're seeing these good fundamentals like we've been talking about, again, yesterday a whale buying day, SHIB holders on the rise. This is the exact fundamental things you need to see to make some of these significant steps forward. Now, obviously, we are getting some help from Ethereum. Ethereum's having a great day, up about 3%, and they're really starting to feel like we're in this phase 2 in the crypto market. For those that aren't familiar, that is when ETH is outpacing BTC, and we're basically loading up for an altcoin season. When you see blue chips go on runs like Shiba Inu, then eventually you see the smaller caps go on runs. And this is a more consistent, significant thing that is taking place. We're not in it quite yet, but we're kind of in that phase 2 in preparation for phase 3. Very exciting sign. Again, I just want to show people for Shiba Inu, what we're doing structurally is not anything strange or wild. We are in this SOS phase. We have been in this SOS phase since we made our last pump in the early part of May. And sometimes these phases, they take a little bit of time and you get chop and it's just blah, it's boring, it sucks. I get it, right? But here was our LPS right back here. And then now SOS, we're preparing for basically phase E, this big extension to the upside. A lot of people have also been talking about cup and handles, and yeah, in the Wyckoff accumulation model, that's exactly what it essentially creates, is a cup and handle formation. And that's where you tend to want to run after that. So we're actually looking very good there. All right. Very good in terms of fundamentals. Some people are betting very, very big on the crypto market. This 40x whale that had been doing some longs and shorts and now flip back to a long actually has now increased this long position up to $622 million. And what I find very interesting about this is this whale, they have, again, played both sides of this, but when they've played the short side, they have played it with less conviction, lower value positions. And they did lose on actually their long position. They lost on their short position. And so now I hope they win on this long position. But what you're seeing is a lot of confidence that the market is going to move to the upside. And obviously, if ETH keeps making moves like it is, bouncing off of that 20-day SMA like we were talking about, if BTC keeps pushing towards 100K, I would not be, 110K. I would not be surprised if we make some significant moves in terms of altcoins. But that brings me to this. When we talk about SHIB versus Ethereum, we've kind of returned back to home here versus ETH, all the way back to the late February relationship between SHIB and Ethereum. And what we've been seeing is SHIB has just kind of been putzing around. And the reason why is, again, SHIB has its largest range of resistance right where we're at. Okay, we've talked about this many times before. Between 4014 and 4019 is SHIB's thickest concentration of liquidity. Means that is the hardest place for SHIB to escape. But when it does, that is when SHIB can start to move very quickly. That is when we probably get this big rebound. And actually what we're trying to fight is kind of this top trend here. You guys can see that that's right where SHIB is fighting resistance. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if, we do bottom somewhere kind of around where we're at currently and try to make this stab back up. And it's a question of, do we have enough gusto to come through, break this? Oh, wow, I can't draw. Break this higher high here, kind of end up somewhere in this range, maybe a little bit of a retest down and something like that. That would make a whole lot of sense. But we just have to be patient, obviously, and let the market play out. I know we talk a lot about patience. We've had to be patient for a very long time, but if you haven't noticed, the market is really working itself out in a good way. You're seeing big conviction from holders, not even just in terms of Shiba Inu, but around the crypto space. You're still seeing buying activity, which is a great sign. And although it may feel like this is just a ride that never ends, there comes a point where eventually you just don't have enough people to push the market down. And what you have is a group of people that are just unwilling to dump their positions. And that's kind of where we're at. We're at that big inflection point in the market. We've been in an uptrend since the early part of April. And actually, I had somebody talking to me about this. Guys, if you take a look here, what we are in is an uptrend. We are moving up and to the right. You're having higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. This is the perfect setup for a bullish extension like we've been discussing. So anybody that's bearish right now, I don't know what to tell you. Right now, nothing is supporting the bearish thesis. In fact, it looks like we're amidst a bull takeover, and that's where Shiba Inu tends to perform its best. When confidence is high, when the market's running, when Ethereum's doing well, that's when Shib can take some of these significant steps forward. So appreciate you guys as always. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.